Hello. So I wanted to teach class on structured aguras as that's become one of my recent obsessions. Yes, I have spent an inordinate amount of time just sitting around shopping these aguras, and I have found, I think, a style that I find to be the best for doing these in a way that you can get them on quick and get them off quick. I want to go over 8-band ones today because I find them the most desirable. I want to show how you trap both feet. I want to show how you can trap both toes without destroying your bottom's feet. You know, yeah, because there tends to be a thirst towards aguras and especially doing that desirable foot and toe trapping, but you have to be so careful. So I wanted to kind of go over some of that, share what I've learned from the process as I do it freestyle. I'm not really following a pattern, but I've kind of developed my own. So I just wanted to share that, and we'll just see where it goes. So for the camera angle, I want an up-down, and I'll probably zoom in to give a better view. Let's see, where's my zoom in? There it is. Okay. You're going to need 4 pieces of standard length rope to complete this tie. You could always do 3 and just do a triple band instead of 3 bands on each leg instead of 4, because we're going for 4 today. But okay, so you'll want to go ahead and get your bite, and you'll always want to start at the ankles. And we'll be doing a single column on the ankles. Use your preferred one. I prefer the Somerville bowline because you can release that first. And when you're tying on the ankles, and that's another reason you want to start here and not your waist, is because you have the highest likelihood of your feet falling asleep and having issues like that. And if that does happen to you, your bottom, you're going to want to be able to release this instantly and get that blood flowing back down there. As opposed to, cutting or if this is not where you started, you're going to have to work your way there. And if you need immediate relief, it's not desirable. So for that reason, I would always start on the feet and not on the waist or anywhere else. Okay, there's my bowline structure. Poke that through and then walk it closed. That's kind of a sloppy one. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so this is your anchor knot or whatever. It's going to, so the first thing, the whole first piece of rope is basically just going to build this. So you can go either way. If you're ambidextrous, this is a good place to practice. So normally I'm right-handed, so normally I would flow this way. I'm, kind of ambidextrous, but I think especially when you're drilling something like this, I did 13 aguras last week. I mean, probably more than that. But if you just keep doing the same thing over and over, you'll find you're limiting yourself. And so, whereas we're going to make this knot going above, I would also recommend doing it under, because it's just beneficial to see you achieve the same result from going 2 different routes, because you're just mirroring it essentially. So when I said we're going over, so you're coming around, and this is where you meet. So this is what's going to hold you up during the thing too. So think about it like this. This little waist rope we're tying here is actually, it's going to keep you sat up a little bit. So this can actually be a fun posture keeper too. So waist rope is very important. You want enough to where you can lean back a little bit without it if you do it too tight and you really, if that's what you want to go for. But I give yourself a little bit of slack because we're self-tying and we're labbing these and we want to be relaxed. We don't necessarily want to be, But if you did want to turn this into a bondage ball position where you hunch over and you connect to a chest harness and pull yourself in, I would do this really, really tight and have everything here, force your back to sit up straight. But for something like this, let's do more relaxed. So you want to come above your rope right here. Try to angle into the light better. So you want to come above. And then what we're going to do is this is your working end right here. And see how I'm holding everything right here. All the tension is being held in that one hand. Oh, not anymore. Anyway, you're coming around, and then you're going to come under and out through that direction. So, just something as simple as that. Tighten it up. It looks like you've got about a waist wrap right there. But what you're going to do now, come up, and then you're going to cross it back over, and then back over again. Actually, no, you don't need to do that. But you cross it back over. I'm going to show that one more time, and I'm going to show a little bit quicker because once you're locked into place, you can change directions. Okay, so you come over, under, towards your body, full pull through. And then you're going to come away from your body and do another little under. And that gives you this little node here, which is going to lock you in place. And continue to come around this way, do another wrap around your waist, trying your best, to match that. And then we're back here, and we're going to do the similar thing. We're going to come above this line, and we're going to come under our body, towards our body, and we're going to come up through the middle. Just like that. And that way you can move whichever direction now, and you're locked off. I'm just giving you an example, but basically there's your stem. So this is very important part of the structure. This is arguably perhaps the most important because everything is going to build out from here. Even though this is essentially, you're not going to grip on this too much unless it's part of what you want to build, but you can actually leave this thing pretty well alone for the most part. But anyway, just show one more time. When you come back, okay, you build it, come above, towards your body, under and up, and then away from your body, under, and then away, double wrap, come back, and again we're going above, and a good practice would next time go under and wrap it a similar way. So go above, and then stick your fingers in here, and grab the middle, and then like that. So this is now where your mobility is coming from. You could wrap down the stem if you wanted to start in the middle and create like an interesting structure or design. But for your standard agora, I would probably go ahead and start from here. Honestly, that waist rope is a little snug for me. I usually do mine a little bit more relaxed, but it's fine. So coming from here, I would give it a single wrap. It's really not that necessarily, but I am going to kind of build around the stem. So that's what I plan to do. So coming here, you're going to start, and this is your first band right here. And you're going to trap this foot right here. And you want to make sure that you go in deep enough to where you can still get the rest later. So coming in, you lay your rope, and as you're laying your tension, you're holding it. It's like a snake going across your skin. Is the best way I can put it. These things should always remain tight. It's giving me good tension. Okay, laying as close to that other rope as I can. This is where you will run out of rope for your first time. Happens every time. I like to try to extend it while I'm in this position because that way I don't have to undo the tie, figure out where the extension is, and go from there and retie it. If you're real clever and flexible, you can just kind of lean yourself up, holding your tension while you make your knot to build off, or however you do extension. Grab your piece to extend. Make your lark's head, bite over that knot to extend your rope. And this way, you're continuing to go without having to undo the tie and relay. Okay, so let me get closer for this shot. Okay, so this is the main method that I use. Is I call it the 6-lane highway. So you're going to create your 6-lane highway right here. You can see it pretty clearly right there, but yeah, that is essentially what it looks like as you're building it. So you're going to come here, and here is your main band. Remember, this is the one that we moved away from the thing on. So this one should move in here, and we're going to take our working end, and we're actually just going to snag it going above, below. Let me do the pull through before we tighten it. So we've come in and we've snagged it from the above, and now we're pulling it where we want it. So we're setting the tension right there, but you notice that this one is still free. There's nothing gripping this, nothing holding it to the rest of it. So what we immediately do after that grip is we come, see where my finger is? This is where I'm going to grab that thing and pull it, and it's going to follow my finger. So like that. And then that's one way to snag both, and then we're going to lock it by coming over the side and then going like this, and that's going to set us on the next direction for the next band. Right there. Oh, Bunny. Ilmore. Illy found the chat for you. She's so helpful. Yeah. I know. I didn't know how to use this platform before I started teaching here. Okay. So this is our exit path. We've locked in here, and now as we're continuing the lock, we're exiting in this direction, which is the direction we want to go. So now we're going to come here and we're going to continue to grab the foot. You don't want too much space here because we're doing 8 wraps, and depending on how big your legs are, you know. So come up. Let me get a better angle. Come up, and that is about where you were going to. This is not easy to show. Like that. And then you're going to do that same move where it's 1 wrap, and then you continue on, ignoring your initial, get the other part of that foot in there. And then here is your original, here's your 6-lane highway. That's your 6-lane highway structure. Here's your working end. You're going to take that under the initial one that you made, and you're going to come from the top. Again, not the bottom, the top. And come from the top. And then that's how you've snagged your tension. But then remember, the middle one's still floating, so you're going to create a floor. 1, 2, and that is your floor. And then looky you just happen to be exiting in the direction you want to go. So that's generally, you know, and I use this system for a lot. So it's a good way of trapping things and then moving. Depending on where you want to go, you do have a lot of mobility in this. Like if I wanted to go the opposite way, it would just take 1 more wrap. It would be like, you know, something like this. I would just come under and then out. I mean, that's not ideal right there, but still, you get the idea. I could exit going this way or something. Depending on how you want to work these little nodes here, you have a lot of options. So we're going to trap the toe now. So, and this is a method I use. You notice how I always snag that first wrap. So if you want to simulate where that is going to be, you can take your other finger and kind of stiffen this rope. So imagine it now. When this thing is fully done and locked off, that's where you want that to be, right there. So if you're pulling that thing tight from the start like this, and you try to come back and grab it, it's not gonna be great. So you wanna leave a little bit of slack, just enough because you know that's where that's gonna be when you're done. So you come down, and here's the big toe. You only wanna trap the big toe, get in as deep as you can. Do your wrap, and you see how I'm still holding this spot. Coming around, and actually you can hold your entire tension now in your one hand. And holding, pausing techniques like this are so important for your mobility. If you can learn how to pause your rope and just stop for a moment, it will make tying a much better, easier process. Because nothing has fallen apart. I don't have to re-tension anything. I'm just pausing. And that, to me, is a type of mobility in rope. So I paused. I have everything right here. I'm going to continue the tie, continue holding that tension, grabbing the other toe now. Yeah. And then here we are. And so now I've already got everything set. So this one's actually going to be easier. And look, I switched hands. Now all the tension is held on this hand. So here's where I snag from above, as I've been doing, but it's a little bit easier now because I preset where that thing was going to be. I preset where I wanted it. Let's see. Yeah. So we got it once. Now let's make our floor. So you go in once, cross over, and then go out the other direction, completing your floor, but also we're moving in the fun direction because this is where we want to go. At the start of the highway thing, is it possible to explain the part after the lower body loops again? I think I do know what you're talking about, and yes, we're going to actually be doing the whole thing again over here too. So yes, we can put a magnifying glass under that part. We can zoom in more if we need to as well. So you'll need to extend here if you're following along, because we need another rope extension. I'm going to show you how to complete this leg and then jump over to the other side. Okay. At the start of the highway thing, is it possible to explain after the lower body loops again? Yes. Okay, so we're going to do... So I'm resetting my tension a little bit, or holding it there. Again, remember, we don't want to do it too tight because then you're going to have to correct it when you come back, and it's not going to be cool. So you want to leave a little bit of slack, just enough to make your L shape here. And you go 1, holding everything there, 2, and this brings you your 6-lane highway. So I assume this is where you need a little bit more focus, because I mean this is such an important move here. I mean everything is founded on this little thing here. So let's see if we can really wrap our heads around this a little bit. Okay, so we're coming around this way. We've got our 6-lane highway. This is our working end here, the one that is going to snag the one that I'm holding here. You know, our stem, as I typically call that part. So we're coming above it. And we'll just grab it, and you see actually when I'm grabbing it like this, holding it right here, it holds all of the tension. So I don't even really need to hold anything but where I want this thing to freeze. So you got right there, and this is the part, I think this is the part where you're struggling a little bit, is on the loop after this part. But so. And notice how I've got everything held here. And again, I don't even have my hand on my body, and everything is being held just because, you know, I'm just doing a simple reverse tension up here. And I find most people do reverse tension from underneath. This is from above. And that is the super key factor here, is this is coming in from above. So you've got it like this. Now to create your floor, to do those other 2 loops, it's going to be once up here, and then it's going to cross over under here and go that way. So I usually will set that by taking my fingers, and you're going to twist and pull, and it's going to follow your finger through. And I want to show that one more time, because this is super important of how I tie, is like you always want to come in because you should have enough, you should be able to get your finger under there anyway. It shouldn't be that tight. And generally rope shouldn't be that tight for you to not be able to do that anyway. So 90% of the time you're going to stick a finger through, you're going to embrace it with the rope, and you see how I twist and pull. And then when I do my pull throughs, if you notice this, how I'm grabbing all 4 pieces of rope together, I call it milking the cow, as you want, because you're maintaining tension when you do this. You see those people who kind of hold this side and then they pull the other side out? Don't do that. It needs to be one fluid motion of pulling all the rope together every time when possible, unless you're doing something really technical and tricky. But so that's the first lock off. And then the second lock off is we just come over it, but we're going to go in that opposite direction. So we're coming over it, and then we're going to go underneath, going out that way. So. And then again, I got so many tripods and big snags, everything around here. But anyway, yeah, you see as I'm pulling all the rope together. Okay. So now at this point, how did that feel, Bunny? I mean, we're going to go do it on the other leg anyway, so you're going to see more. But did that make any more sense or help feel any better? Now, at this point, we've got one leg done. We are going to travel back to the other leg. And I'm going to show you the most annoying way to do that I can think of. Okay. And I say annoying because there's gonna be a lot of poking. So now that we're up, we've got our mobility. Normally this is where we would do another wrap, you know, if we were still doing bands, but we want to travel back down. And the best way you can visualize that is we're gonna weave in and out, in and out, in and out. And then we're gonna come back, wrap around this thing, and we're literally just gonna dive into the next leg going the exact same pattern. So now that you've got these, and look, these are all identical. These all show the same you know, movement and wrap. And so that's how you know you're being consistent, is if you can just visually affirm. And the same thing with hishikaratas, like when you're doing the knots down your chest, like you want those knots to be uniform if you can. And so this is good practice on doing the same thing over and over. Oh no, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it's like once it clicks, it clicks. But yeah, you're about to see at least 4 more. So, okay, now that we're going back, we're going to weave in and out to get back. And the best way to do this is you take your finger don't abuse your pointer fingers, please. Try to use this one, try to use this one. So, you know, take this finger and you grab it, and then you twist that finger and you pull at the same time. Remember, I kind of demonstrated that on that one thing, but okay. And so you've got it like that. So same move, we can come like right here and then go under. So here's my finger to lift up the rope. And then we're going to jump over again. And then again. And if you have a lot of rope you want to eat up, you could sit there and loop, loop, loop. You know, you could eat all that rope up, or you could, you know, make it real structured or real heavy or whatever. Like, it's just dealer's choice on that one. So I went and I wrapped the stem a couple of times just to rejoin here, because by the time this whole thing is done, like, this is going to be a beefy little anchor here. So now that we're on the other side, we're going to continue on the next part of the leg. And let me position myself in the light a little bit better, because I want to get this, I want to get a good view of this. Okay. So we're moving this direction, moving down. And the reason I usually will tie my aguras going forward is because it helps you get an understanding of where the foot needs to go and et cetera like that. Whereas if you start going in the back, it's a little different. Like, I've done them, but I just prefer to go front first, because it's going to embrace, you're gonna engage with your feet quicker. And like right now, I've been testing this foot ever since I've been tying it, and it's fine. Like, we've got the toe trapped, we've got, you know, four bands, you know, here on the foot, and everything's fine. And that is super duper important, because if it's not, like, you need to know pretty quick. Okay, so we're gonna come immediately down to this foot, and we're gonna come in to about here. So you don't want to go you want to come into that little pocket. You don't want to actually go in the heel bone. So go in there. And then remember to leave a little bit of slack, because this is where your L is going to be. Remember, if you do this too tight and then you come and you try to move it, it's going to, I just felt the added pressure to my foot. So you want it to be snug, but again, you want to visualize where your connection is going to be. Come back around. Okay, remember, you can, this 4-lane highway, I guess you could say, grab that, and then you continue on to grab the other part of the foot until you wind back here with your 6-lane highway. Okay, so here it is, 6-lane highway. I'm now poking the middle lane, that is going to float. This is the working end, the left lane, and then this is the right lane. The one that we are going to come and snag is this one right here. So this one gets so ignored. You're really just working with these two in this moment. So you're coming above and you're grabbing the stem above and you're reversing it right here just to hold it. And you see I'm holding everything right now. Nothing's falling apart. Even if you can just sit here holding this, you're dope. Like, that's great. So once you're doing this, you immediately want to come back and make a floor by going under and then going under in this direction. And this is going to lead you coming out in the direction you want to go for your next wrap. We'll show it one more time. This is where I've snagged the band, come up, grabbed it, making my floor by coming up, and then coming to the side, exiting, coming this way. So now we're going to grab the next part of the foot. Try to not have rope cross down there either. That's not a good place to have rope crossing. Okay, and then your extension, go ahead and just do it right here up front. Okay, so here is your first wrap. This is your stem. This is where we're going to bite over or cross over here in a minute. Let's make sure everything is tight. I feel like I lost a little bit of tension just then. There it is. Okay, let's do our double wrap. Here's our stem. I'm coming above and reverse tensioning. Got my rope all tangled up right there. And then you go up. You go to the side. And then that leaves you traveling in the direction you want to go next. which is this way to grab the next toe. I feel like, let's see. Let's see. I feel like, yeah, you were so close. I feel like you should be, you see how I'm underneath when I'm exiting? You're exiting on top. That's what I see immediately is from yours is like you see how I'm coming underneath the knot and exiting underneath. I can see where you're exiting on top. So it looks like you may be doing it backwards maybe. So let's try one more time. Yeah, it looks like you're doing under maybe. So let me show you what I think you might be doing. Is so in this next one, yeah, you grab the toe like we did on the other one. You untangle your tensioned up rope, or maybe that's just me. I'm gonna do what I think you're doing and see if I leave on the top like that. So let's see. What I think you're doing is I think you're coming underneath like that, and then you're doing it like kind of right, I feel like. So that's kind of what you're doing, which honestly that kind of works too. But let's see. Yeah, I feel like the lay's not as good here. It bunches up more right here than this one does. But yeah, so that looks like where you messed up. So instead of going underneath there, you're going to want to go above. And honestly, I mean, this is the part that my brain struggled with when I was kind of developing this. I'm develop bullshit, but I mean, like, you know, I felt this thing out enough to where I was like, this is what I think is holding my like weight the best. You know, when I do self-suspension and stuff. So instead of going under it, you know, because I was doing a lot of under reverse tension and everything, but going over is something I found I was doing a lot less of. And so going over and locking it right there allows you, yeah, that space to kind of pop in again down here. And then over the side. And then out of the direction you want to go. Over. One and two. And that is it. That is an 8-band agora. Now how you would eat up the extra rope is you would do exactly what you did on that other side is you would just weave it. Weave in and out. Come back into the stem. And find a way to lock off however you want, depending on what you're using this thing for. I mean, if you're just sitting here cross-legged, you know, just enjoying the rope, like, you know, there's really nothing too special you need to do as far as like considerations. I would just try not to add pressure to the ankle depending on how you're doing down there. This ankle wrap ended up, you know, unless I lean back, it's okay. It goes. Yeah. Let me see. Let's see. But that is essentially the main style of Gura that I'm actually playing with lately that is meaningful to me. Like, I mean, I do a lot of weird, like, you know, and again, I will go on and on about how the Agura is this is your body's largest natural canvas for self-tying. This combined with your chest and then all the work you can do between it, this is the self-tier's watering hole right here is this position. You know, the Futomomo is the self-tier's delight. This is the self-tier's watering hole. So most of your, you know, exploration and stuff comes from this position because I've got 8 bands here. If I did a chest harness, I have tons of options for connecting these, like ratcheting it, you know, turning, you know, doing a ball tie or something like that. And yeah, I mean, once you've got this, you can even just keep adding rope and doing like a fucking, art piece or whatever, you know. It's like you've got a canvas with this. Yeah, but that's essentially it. I can do these about 9 minutes, maybe a little bit less if I was actually like trying for speed. But they're incredibly supportive. I have never taken one up in the air because I don't have a way of getting myself up there that I know of. I'm not brave enough to try moving the ottoman yet, but maybe one day. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to hoist myself up though eventually. But that is essentially it. That's the class I wanted to teach. And I definitely think that if you spend like a week just drilling aguras, you're going to be a really good self-tire because of that. So, all right. Thank you all for attending this class. Appreciate you.